Every great Sabrina Carpenter song is a kind of victory. Even when she loses in love, she wins with words.
If you don't wanna cry to my music, don't make me hate you perfectly.
And when she wins in love, she wins with words even harder. Good lyric writing tends to bend language away from its ordinary patterns and usages in order to achieve some kind of mastery over things. In Espresso, there's a double mastery at work, as Sabrina's exuberance at having enthralled her lover fuels her exuberant misuse of English. Proper nouns are turned into verbs.
I know I'm not into it for you.
Verb phrases are turned into personified nouns.
Might give a fucks. Are on vacation.
Adjectives are turned into verbs.
One touch and I'm brand new for you.
Whole idioms are turned into verbs.
Walked in and dream came true for you.
She twists words round her finger as easily as the man she describes, but running through all the fun and whimsy is a taut line of control. In the pre-chorus, she rhymes an impressive 6 times on a 4-syllable feminine rhyme, and inside that structure of compulsive repetition, she weaves together multiple patterns of meaning. She depicts her romantic conquest via sensory overload, hitting vision, smell, taste, and touch. She juxtaposes the inadequacy of the past with the addictive present. She implies his round-the-clock obsession by identifying herself with different caffeinated drinks for all times of day, both getting him up in the morning and keeping him up at night.
I've heard a lot of people that were like, she should have said that's that blonde espresso, duh. That is another song. Me, espresso just felt like the right thing to say.
It felt right, she says, and she is absolutely correct. Blonde espresso adds nothing but a pretty weak pun on her hair color and doesn't really fit into the artistic design of the rest of the song. Me espresso perfectly encapsulates her cheeky self-indulgence, and it clicks into place with all the other grammatical distortions I mentioned, as well as the sonic pattern of assonance on long E sounds. The parts all have to contribute to the total effect of the whole, and exactness is everything. In Coincidence, she uses precise, ironic language to satirize and cut through her cheating boyfriend's habitual evasiveness.
Your car drove itself from LA to her thighs.
The effect of this line hinges on the last word, which is so surprising because of the incongruous image it conjures up, the smash cut in one prepositional phrase from the car to the bedroom. It jarringly captures the guy's horny eagerness, but by collapsing time and distance, fast-forwarding from a city away to physically entwined, the line also embodies what the whole song is about, the doomed sense of the inevitable, that from the first mention of the other girl's name, in that very first spark, Sabrina could have seen the balefire of infidelity blazing at the end of their path. Similarly, when she sings that her romantic rival is
Trying to turn the past into the present tense.
the word tense adds a lot more than just a rhyme. Only words have tenses, and her rival doesn't just want her old boyfriend back, she wants her old words back. She wants the right to say the kinds of things she used to say about herself and him, not in the past tense to describe how they were together, but in the present tense to describe how they are together. She gets what she wants, but the recurring irony is that Sabrina has her own way of turning the past into the present tense, her music. In poetry, time is psychological, and lyric excels at taking something that's past and putting us into an immediate, ongoing present tense experience of it.
Your name comes up once, then it comes up twice. Now she's in the same damn city on the same damn night. Now she's sending you some pictures wearing less and less.
Busy Woman performs the opposite trick, turning the future into the present before it's arrived.
My clothes are off, I'm coming over to your place.
She conveys her anticipation and excitement through hysteron-proteron, a device where something that logically comes second comes grammatically first. Obviously, she isn't running through the streets naked, but the desired end state is at the forefront of her mind and her sentence. My favorite line in Please, Please, Please begins as an entreaty and ends as a curse.
I beg you don't embarrass me, motherfucker.
I love how it captures in just a few words her momentary slide from desperation into preemptive rage, from fear that her lover might make a bad mistake into the angry certainty that he will. The preceding line
Heartbreak is one thing, my ego's another.
sets up a balanced antithesis between the singer's vulnerability and her pride. And the movement from one to the other can be felt in this line, which rounds off the couplet on an uneasy slant rhyme between another and motherfucker. But for me, the biggest thing that makes it so thrilling to listen to is the rhythm. The natural way of saying the line would put the stresses like this: I beg you, don't embarrass me, motherfucker. But this isn't the way she sings it. Both lines fall into a poetic meter called dactylic tetrameter, basically 4 triplets of syllables that begin on the beat. You can feel the pull of Sabrina's darkening emotions and how the first line slips into the second, since I is actually the last syllable of the triplet from the line before. Once we've been sucked into this rhythmic pattern, it forces the stress on the second syllable of embarrass to shift onto the M, which is unnatural and feels a bit unstable, like digging in your heels when walking down a hill. And that shift, in turn, pulls the stress from mother onto me, forcefully centering the prideful, commanding ego she doesn't want to get wounded. In the resulting pattern, the stressed vowels also get gradually darker in quality across the line. E, All these poetic effects combine to make the whole thing feel as heated and precarious as the relationship she's describing. Another accentual displacement I really like occurs in Juno.
I wanna try out some freaky positions.
Here's how it would sound spoken normally. Wanna try out some freaky positions? And here's how she sings it.
I wanna try out some freaky positions.
The meter of the line is very even and regular, iambic pentameter if you're curious. But in following it, she stresses both of the wrong syllables in the line's key word.
I wanna try out some freaky positions.
It sounds much more off-color that way, the word itself being forced into a weird metrical position, and it works well with the sentiment of pushing boundaries and trying out something that might be seen as improper. But all throughout, this song is hilariously transgressive.
Whole package, babe, I like the way you fit. God bless your dad's genetics.
Right out of the gate, that is a shocking thing to say in a putative love song. Even if he's into the sexual punning, no one wants their dad mentioned anywhere in the vicinity of this kind of conversation, let alone in the insane way she does here. And then just think about the central line.
I might let you make me Juno.
Yes, it means I might let you get me pregnant, like the character in the movie Juno, but that's a crazy allusion to make, because the movie is about a scandalous, accidental teenage pregnancy. The line is paradoxical, because you literally can't let someone make you Juno, accidentally on purpose. Part of the point is to get her meaning across in the most jarring way possible. And funny as it is, it's certainly not romantic in the way conventional love lyrics are. This is a very earthy, witty kind of love poetry that reached a high point in the Renaissance, whose language she directly invokes and plays with in Bedchem.
Where art thou? Why not upon me?
There's a great Renaissance poem by Andrew Marvell where the speaker tells his lover that life is short, so they should give in to their desire and sleep together before it's too late, because soon they'll be moldering in the grave, and worms shall try that long-preserved virginity. Like the lines in Juno, it's an absolutely shocking thing to say to someone you're romancing, but it's winningly lively and humorous, and that's what's attractive. You're not dealing with some ethereal, idealized lover. You're dealing with a distinctive individual, a real character. The cleverest line in the song, with its brilliant rhyme on Juno,
One of me is cute, but too low.
actually makes the opening more clever in retrospect. The reference to dad's genetics wasn't a throwaway joke. It was subtly introducing the idea that procreation means making a copy of yourself, which ends up being the centerpiece of the whole song. Shakespeare wrote a bunch of sonnets urging a young man to father a child in order to make a copy of his beauty. Now is the time that face should form another, because, he warns, die single, and thine image dies with thee. But that's not the only way to enable your image to live on. Shakespeare ends his most famous sonnet by saying this about what he's written: so long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. You can also remake yourself in poetry and music, which people might read or listen to or sing on repeat. If they do, you gain new life through their addictive attachment to your art. Or as Sabrina would say,
It's the